And this girl got off scot-free with what otherwise would have been a felony charge, which is what this girl deserved.
Yeah, agreed.
Because, you know, if she's doing that to you, what is she doing to other people?
Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, everybody, welcome back. It's been a couple of shows in, and we're hoping that you enjoy it. We're certainly enjoying recording. It's been a long day here in the studio living room, but I think we're tiring Dionna out, which is a good thing, because, should I say it? You like to talk a lot? And yawn, too. So I think today we're doing a thought with me. Oh.
Dionna. Not Dionna.
Is my name Dionna?
Yeah, actually.
Oh.
In your dreams. But this
No.
is Tyler's expective.
Yeah, my expective patronum. Harry Potter fan.
That is not that word.
I know. You meant a thought with me.
Whatever. Keep going, Tyler. What about you?
What's on my mind?
Yeah.
Today, what's on my mind? I've been thinking a lot about the plan for the podcast and getting quality guests on the show. Where I'm just trying to get enough episodes in the log so that we're not busy. It's we're kind of busy. We're doing a lot of work now, but we've got to get up a lot of podcast episodes. We record a couple weeks in advance. That way, we're not rushing every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
We can record like an episode here or there. Give us more room for spontaneous stuff when we have the backlog filled. So I know this week we might have another episode with a really interesting gentleman. I don't want to give any spoilers away.
Mm-hmm.
If he is on the show, it will probably be posted before this one. So if you heard him the last episode or wherever, I hope you enjoyed his interview. I think he has a lot of good stuff to say. Do you need a coffee?
I think so.
Do you want to stop and go get a coffee?
No.
Okay. Well, get yourself a coffee after this episode, because falling asleep on me over there. Yeah, so that's
tired.
a kind of a thought with me. I'm ready. I'm ready for the growth for this episode. As of recording, we're 2 days to go until dropping of episode 1. And you guys are listening. You have the benefit of knowing how episode 1 did, because this comes out in the future. But
well, what is? It's on Monday,
right? It drops on Monday.
What time?
Well, I mean, they'll know at this point, but yeah, all of our episodes are going to drop around, I think YouTube drops at 9 a.m., and then I have it auto-scheduled to release a little before noon on our podcasting hosting platform.
That's good.
Yeah. So unfortunately...
I am not bougie.
You're not bougie?
Tyler is a videographer.
There you go.
And Tyler is doing it, not me.
Well, you have the hard part. You're the stroke survivor with aphasia that has to try to communicate clearly enough. And you're doing a really good job. I just have to keep reminding you to adjust your mic a little bit. It shouldn't be in front of your mouth. It should be off to the side. So you see how we're having a little lesson on podcasting techniques for Dionna. You see how, if you look at me? Well, if those of you listening won't notice, but those of you watching, you'll have noticed suddenly a coffee cup appear in Dionna's hands.
Yes.
And that's the magic of editing. Well, all jokes aside, welcome everybody. And today's topic is maybe a little sad, maybe a little unfortunate.
Yeah.
But it's something that we need to talk about. And it's the topic of bullying and how...
After my stroke, too.
Yeah, and...
Not before. I was pretty popular in school.
Yeah, well, that just goes to show how a lack of compassion that people really have out there.
Yeah.
It boggles my mind every day that somebody can just wake up and genuinely be mean. Like we all have our bad days, and we're cranky, and we're all terrible human beings at a certain point in our life, but to actually
be mean
to the point where there's hate,
harassment,
there's hate in somebody's heart.
Yeah,
targeted hate. The same thing goes towards racial discrimination or religious discrimination. It's fine not to like somebody, but to not like them and treat them poorly just because of something. And people with disabilities face it all the time.
Well, after my stroke, like couple of days after my stroke, my best friend was in school, and I remember, well, not remember because I was in a ventilator, but my best friend told me about it. A kid, like in school, said that she died, right? Thank God. And I'm like,
what did you ever do to that person? I mean, other than being sarcastic.
First day of school in 10th grade, I was like after my stroke, obviously. And I was walking in school the first day, like before classes started for the day. And I walked to the class with my shaved head and having my brace on my leg. And everybody stood there and watched me. And it was, I had no speech. I mean,
yeah.
I was like, say now, hey, how are you? And stuff. No, I had no speech back then and not communicated.
Was that an example of bullying, or did you feel like people were talking about you behind your back?
Behind my back. Oh, look at her having cut her hair off. Oh, not popular anymore.
Well, that's not understandable, and there's a lot of very unfortunate bullying in high school, but
I know.
It extends past high school. And a lot of people grow out of being petty bullies in high school once they realize that the world's not about them anymore. So fast forward to trying to live on your own, your first time out of the house.
Well, I was going to Brockport College for a semester or two. And I'm like, honestly, I need to live in a apartment on campus and
get that experience.
Yeah, like I didn't go on campus before. I was only driving to Brockport and back.
Right. I mean, yeah, that's pretty common. A lot of people, like, I went to community school. I just drove to school every day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I lived on campus for a semester too. It was a unique experience, and it should have been a good experience for you.
Hey guys, I am so glad you're listening into our show. We need to tell you about Patreon.
That's right. We have a Patreon channel where our most dedicated listeners can show their support and get extra benefits like early episodes, and everything is ad-free. In addition, Dionna puts out a monthly newsletter and a lot of extra great content like behind the scenes and bonus merchandise discount codes.
Exactly. Way to go, Tyler.
So we want to see you over there at the Patreon, and we have many different tiers for you to choose from. Feel free to go check it out. The link is in the show notes. And also, one quick thing, we have a TikTok channel, Dee, right?
Yes,
So,
we do.
Yeah, if you like the content that we're putting out, go see us over on TikTok as well.
Back to the show. I had friends on campus,
Right.
in the townhouse.
So you visited them and you thought it was a really cool experience?
Yeah. And they graduated and stuff. And I'm like, honestly, I should do that too.
You had FOMO, fear of missing out.
Kind of. And I'm like, honestly, I should.
Honestly.
And
so you found an apartment. Yeah.
I did.
You found an apartment with a former friend of yours.
Well, the friend was in grade school with me.
Mm-hmm.
And in high school too.
So a good friend.
Yeah, and she had lollipops for sale in school after my stroke.
Oh, to help raise money for you?
Yeah.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
So you moved into college with her.
And then
was it just her
best friend?
Okay. So
and
another
then
one of her friends.
The other roommate, but that was the fourth roommate was out of town.
So it was four girls in an apartment.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
With a washer and dryer in the unit, you name it. It was gorgeous place.
Cool.
And it was kind of new too.
Mm-hmm.
5 years old.
So at the time we started dating, and you would come over to my place every couple of days to hang out.
Mm-hmm.
I was living at a house at the time, and it was a little bit of a drive for you.
An hour.
Yep. So I remember you. Let's just fast forward and skip all the nitty-gritty details of what happened over text, because there was girl drama over text that I don't know as if it escalated to bullying there. It was just girls that don't like each other. But there was one significant issue that took it to the stage of criminalness.
Yeah.
Criminalness, is that the word? Was it it was a crime. You were the victim of a hate crime. Yeah, thank you. I was having a moment of brain farting.
Aphasia.
Well, yeah. So you were the victim of a hate crime.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you explain that night? What was going on? What was going on that led up to that?
I was in the townhouse alone for the night, and the fourth roommate was out of town, 4 hours away out of town. And the second and the third roommate was in a wedding
somewhere
out of town too. And I'm like, oh, perfect. Having my laundry in the dry, or the washer and the dryer. And I had her laundry, it was open, and the laundry was...
You mean in the laundry wasn't all the way done? She just left it there partially finished?
No, she was fully...
Like it was all the way done. Yeah, it was in the dryer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to have that all the time working. I used to work at a college campus, and it's unbelievable how many college students just put their laundry in the dryer or the washer or the dryer or whatever and just walk away and never come back 6 hours later. And then they wonder why their laundry's missing or set aside.
But her laundry, well, dirty, clean laundry. And I set it in a chair next to the machines.
Right. That's common courtesy.
Yeah.
It's better than I've seen kids throw out other people's laundry. I'm not even kidding. Like, oh, you didn't come back for your laundry? Garbage.
Well,
You did the courteous thing.
She was having laundry every day, all the time. And I was at least 2 times over 1.5 months having my own laundry in the machines.
So you put your laundry in, and then you came over to my place.
Well, my laundry was clean after, and I set it in my room, and I locked the door in my room.
So your laundry was clean. You put it in your room, locked the door. You came over to my place.
Yeah, I went to your place, and an hour later, my third roommate called me, the nasty roommate, and said, "Why is my laundry in a chair?" Like, screaming for like 3 minutes straight.
I was there. I remember I was on the computer. You were watching something on, I think, Disney Plus or something. And I remember just hearing, like, you just had the phone on speakerphone and you were just listening to this girl for 3 minutes straight go absolutely insane. Like typical, I'm sorry for anybody with the name Karen, but the typical stereotypical Karen, absolute just monster.
And she said, "You are retarded," multiple times. And that word, in my eyes, is hurtful.
Yeah, I remember her starting to call you names like, "How dare you bleep, you bleep, bleep, bleep." And you just started crying. You were just holding the phone in front of your face on speakerphone, crying. And I picked up the phone and basically said, "If you don't have anything nice to say, you can just hang up because we're not dealing with this." And that's when she said that, no, Dionna is faking it. I know stroke survivors and she's not it. She's just a child, an immature child. After this girl started bullying you and was legitimately harassing you over the phone, we didn't feel safe you going back to campus.
At all.
So we ended up, first of all, calling your parents and telling them what just happened. And there was a lot of what now, looking back on it, is clear indications that she was going to lose her marbles on you over text message, just petty stuff. But it came into a head, and I basically said, we need to go to the campus police and file a report, because this is clear case of harassment with all of the stuff that she was doing over text message, and then all of the stuff that she said to you on the phone was basically like, how dare you exist in my space? So when we went to the police, we filed a police report at the campus police, and then
that was it, because the police said, "Are you staying at Tyler's for the night?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And there
was more. They brought in a resident life coordinator.
Hey guys, we need to tell you about our sponsor, Cardinal Artworks.
That's right. Cardinal Artworks is our exclusive provider of really great merchandise.
They have cutting boards, t-shirts, cups, you name it.
That's right. Scott and Christina over at Cardinal Artworks are amazing. They're also the exclusive provider of all of the merchandise for the Dionna Zaparo and A Stroke of Luck brand. So make sure you check them out. We're going to have a link in the podcast description below.
Enjoyed the show.
And then they were able to bring an on-call resident coordinator or something, whatever his title was, over. And we decided that night that you were just going to stay at my place and then we would sort it out in the morning.
And it was at 2 a.m.
Yeah. She called you like 10:30. By the time we got to campus, it was like 11:30, you know. So the college was actually really accommodating, and they offered to move you into a completely different apartment the next day. So your entire family and I and you, we all went to campus the next day. This was in the heart of the pandemic, so otherwise nobody was supposed to be in the complexes except for residents. So what happened after we got there in the midst of moving you out from one apartment to the other?
Well, okay. Before the meeting with everybody with my RA, I walked to my apartment because
the first apartment.
Yeah. And hello? Nobody was there. I'm like, perfect, because I have to pee. And I walked in and my stuff was in a bag and some stuff was out next to my bag.
Like all broken open.
Yeah.
Like it was just things. Chucked down the stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
She said, I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
So just chuck down the stairs. So she just technically, I mean, it's food, but now she's damaged your property, which by the letter of the law, even though it's just food, food has value. And even more so now, like thing of eggs is like gold around here. But that's technically criminal mischief, destroying another person's property.
Yeah. And I saw that and I had pictures and I went to the bathroom and then I left to go to the meeting.
So we had a meeting with the Res Life coordinator, and of all the options that they gave you, we ultimately decided to move your stuff from your existing apartment into a new apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we did that. And I said in the meeting, I'm like not having the police involved, like in the, like having the moving my stuff out of the apartment.
Not having them there because she wasn't there. This roommate in question wasn't there.
No, at the time. And we were moving my like things out of the apartment and the door was wide open. And my third roommate walked in and said, "Why is the door wide open?" And I'm like, here we go.
And boy, did we go. Holy cow. I remember we were all up there moving stuff out, and it was like you killed her favorite pony. And she went off at 1,000,000 miles an hour, nonstop. You're not supposed to be here. How dare you? Blah, 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 blah,
with
blah.
My family.
You're not wearing masks. Like everything under the sun. And then she called the police, and we're all just standing there dumbfounded. Blah, 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 blah.
She moved my cup in the sink like 2 inches. I'm like, yeah, because I was cleaning the kitchen.
And it's like, wait a minute. Can we talk about all the property you damaged of Dionna's? Anyways, you could tell that when the police came, they're like, here we go again. Almost like they have a history with her. But being that it's a college, they can't tell you that. But the police officer that showed up was super chill and basically told Queen Drama to just stay outside the apartment and shut her pie hole
in her room.
Yeah, shut her pie hole.
Because the police's sister had a stroke.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she, like, I told kind of my stroke story, and she said, wow, my sister had a stroke too. And
it's pretty common.
Yeah.
So the police, they basically told this person to shut their pie hole. So we moved you out, and then you had a great experience in the other apartment. Your other roommate from the apartment that you moved into never even really came back. How many times did you see her?
Once. That's it.
But then to wrap the story up, we later found out that the police, when they did their interview with this girl, she basically, so for those of you that don't know, there are elements of a crime that you have to prove in order for there to, in fact, be a crime. Bunch of legal jargon. She straight up admitted to everything. She was like, yes, I did this. Yes, I called her this. Yes, I called her boyfriend this. Yes, she is this. I damaged her stuff. So what? She deserved it.
Yeah.
And you know, the most unfortunate thing about all of this is twofold. The school is not allowed to tell us the outcome of what the school did. So we don't know if the school did anything. However, we do know that because this was a police report, it went in front of the district attorney's office and a judge, and somewhere in there, they decided that no one really cares about what happens to somebody with a disability. Because in their mind, even though this was a federal hate crime, it is a federal crime to harass and discriminate.
A disability.
Yep, it's a federal crime to harass and discriminate against somebody with a disability. They saw it as just a regular harassment, which is so much as a traffic ticket. So they took...
Oh, tisk tisk. That's it.
Tisk tisk? What's tisk tisk?
Tisk tisk.
No, I like your version better. So basically they said, we don't care.
Yeah.
And this girl got off scot-free with what otherwise would have been a felony charge, which is what this girl deserved.
Yeah. Agreed.
Because, you know, if she's doing that to you, what is she doing to other people?
Yeah. And after that, like, we went home after the semester.
Right. You didn't go back.
I had dreams about her.
You were nervous. You didn't want to go to your graduation because you didn't want to risk seeing her. Oh, and one of the things that she admitted to was that she believed that you were a child. She told the police multiple times that, you might be 24, 23 at the time, 24, 24.
23.
She's like, yeah, she might be 23, but on the inside, there's something mentally wrong with her. She's retarded. She's like a 13, 14-year-old, which is simply not true. And your grades proved it. You have amazing grades in college.
And I am older than her.
And infinitely more mature.
Yeah. And she was kind of age bitch about everything.
Yeah, well, most bullies kind of are. But that whole incident, I think, is one of our driving factors in what
disability in general
and what we do.
Advocating.
That we need to raise awareness in there needs to be more education and more.
And get this, she was like, her degree was in I can't say that.
Management. How many people with disabilities is she going to run into?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's really important to educate and to bring awareness to this, because how was she raised to believe that somebody with a disability is mentally defunct
And retarded.
and what? Yeah, I mean, people say things all the time that they shouldn't. Like, people don't realize that retarded is so hateful of a word, because we as a society have normalized it. But she truly believed that you were mentally not there. And where does
Yeah.
that belief come from, that people with disabilities are less?
Mm-hmm.
And you're studying that now in college in your disability studies. You're learning that our ingrained fear or disgust of those with disabilities runs back as far as history itself.
Mm-hmm.
I remember reading, helping you read one of the passages in your books, and it talked about the origins of why we say words in our language like it was monstrous,
Mm-hmm.
or um, describing somebody with a disability as um,
Hateful and sinned
right.
upon.
I wish I had the words in front of me, but it was everyday acceptable language that we use to describe people with disabilities, to describe events in our life, in the world,
Mm-hmm.
that come from putting others down,
Mm-hmm.
and specifically those with disabilities.
Yeah.
And
Right.
maybe that could be a topic for another episode, talking about the origins of some of these words. We'll have to pull out your textbook and
Yeah.
put it out there. Kind of a not a very upbeat episode, but it is something that we wanted to bring some awareness to,
Mm-hmm.
and share that experience. And
Yeah.
our next episode will be a little more positive, but we just want to let everybody know before we close out the episode that if you go to our Discord, there's going to be a channel for the podcast where people can ask their questions. And as soon as we start getting questions in, we'll spend the last five or so minutes answering them, 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how many we get,
Yep.
on future episodes.
Yeah. That's it.
That's it. This is a shorter episode, but hopefully you found it enlightening, and we'll see you on the next one.
Okay. Bye.